Topical issue. Topic today is zero attack. The Mitsubishi A6 M70, codename Zeke. I repeat again, zero attack. The Mitsubishi A6 M70, codename Zeke. This name on 7th December 1941 shocked the Americans at Pearl Harbor. This is the time when somebody was there, he would have sung this song. Here comes the hero. Don't you play with Mr. Hero. Because if you play with Mr. Hero, he will turn you into zero. Zero. Watch out for Mr. Hero before he turns you into zero. You better be careful not to play with Mr. Hero because he will turn you into zero. Zero. That was the zero fighter. On 7th December 1941, Japan, being on the side of Germany, attacked Pearl Harbor in Australia. That was an American base, without warning. At that 0 hour, that zero fighter destroyed many American planes, destroyed an American, one or two warships, and zero still followed the American planes in other places and turned them into zero. It was a surprise. The A6 M70 fighter was the work of an engineer, a great designer of planes called Jiro Horikoshi. He had designed many planes for Japan. But this was a plane that was made very light. It would move at high speeds. It would make sudden sharp turns. And it would attack from a great height. It could bomb from a great height. It would challenge attack planes. And when the attack came, the Japanese had not declared war. Americans were not suspecting any attack from the Japanese. And at that 0 hour, the A6 M70 struck. The pilots had that command, the secret word they had given one another. When you descend at the target, you will say, tiger, tiger, tiger. But they were not saying it in English. They were saying it in their mother tongue. Tora, Tora, Tora. Tiger, tiger, tiger. Command to attack. They left the Pearl Harbor devastated. The Americans were wondering, what is this thing? What planes attacked us? They could not believe the Japanese were capable of such a great engineering. They knew the Japanese were advanced. They knew the Japanese made good warships, carrier ships, but they never thought the Japanese were that good. Jiro Horikoshi had given them a surprise, his design rather. But for this fighter plane to reach such a versatility, many things were done. He used a new alloy, compromised on the weight, and put up the wings and materials that would make the plane turn within a very short space. It would move in circles, and it would fly at great heights. It would overtake other planes. It was a fast fighter. It was a shock to the Americans. They later fought, and we know what happened during the Second World War when they make their hit back later. But after many wars, this was also the kamikaze plane. Kamikaze was a Japanese way of honor. If you have been sent on a mission and you find you are going to lose out, they would crash themselves with a plane onto the target. It frightened the Americans. It frightened everybody until the Americans had to call in the nuclear bomb, because everybody was disarrayed. They didn't know what to do. And the Japanese were not giving up. They would not surrender. What does it teach us in life? It teaches us that there are times when we have to make certain sacrifices. We have to make certain training. We have to be ready for the unexpected. Because sometimes you get zero warning. Just like the Americans got zero warning. And when the zero warning comes, sometimes you don't even know what to do, because the zero attacker attacks with such ingenuity and versatility that most of the things you'll be having will be left in ruins. So this one teaches people in normal life. Do not underestimate your enemy. Never. 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 Even if you think your enemy is very weak, the worst thing you can do is to underestimate your enemy. Take on any enemy with the seriousness that you will take on a very strong enemy. This happened when Tyson was boxing the Evander Holyfield. And Tyson knew he was a 3-minute man, 2-minute man, and you're out. And when he saw this fighter, he thought it would be 2 minutes. But before the fight, this man was singing songs, and he was wondering, every time everybody got into the ring, they were shivering, but this one was singing songs. And when the war began, he was so surprised, because Evander Holyfield fought a war of attrition. The other one knew. 3 minutes, out. He fought to the point that he got frustrated. He ended up now not boxing, but fighting the opponent. Biting the opponent. That is what happens. So just like the zero, by surprise, reduced heroes to zero. Never take any move for granted. When you are competing with a company, when you are competing with a business partner, when you are entering into new fields of trade, if it's design, if it's anything that you are doing, do not underestimate anybody, because the moment you are in that lapse, that is the moment you will fail. Beware. AM6, A6, AM7, Zeke showed an example that in everything we have to do, we should always take it seriously. Never relapse into anything. Never be caught on your laurels. And that is what this Second World War attack taught the Americans. From that time, the Americans became very alert. They never take things for granted. Because codename Zeke gave them a surprise. It should teach us in life to approach life like a war and know there may be surprises on the way. Zero surprises, zero attack. That's my take for now.